such as DNA swabs that were found on Ms. Shahan that showed sperm that were found on her body at the time that was not mentioned to anybody in any of the prosecution's responses. Facts such as a footprint being found on a broken door to whoever broke into that house and killed. Facts such as that house had been broken into in the past, along with other houses in it. This case is going to be tried on fact, on proof, not on someone's sexual orientation, not on whether or not there was fidelity or infidelity in the marriage. This case is going to be tried on fact, and that's what lawyers and people are supposed to do. Now, prosecution's choice of doing what they did and putting those things about whether things are admissible or not admissible in evidence, that was their choice to do that. You know, we choose not to try to case the media. We choose to try to case in a courtroom based on proof. Not probabilities, not suspicion, proof. That's how cases are supposed to be tried. If they choose to do it another way, that's just unfortunate.
Are you speaking in reference to those emails?
I'm speaking in reference to anything that is not proof, that's not proof of guilt. That's it. That's what we decide in this country proof has to be based on. Some sort of evidence. Not making assumptions and then bending narratives to support assumptions. We don't do that. We decide things on proof.
Judge Preacher said she was going to give me more time to, I guess, do some legal research. What kind of research do you need to do to respond to this?
Well, there's some questions she had about whether the response the state gave was in fact a response, and I'm sorry.
I'm sorry,
I'm
talking about myself. I'm sorry.
About whether the state's response wasn't in fact a real response to our motion, or was it just their regurgitation of a variety of things that may or not be admissible or may not even be relevant. She wants us to do both sides to provide some more legal authority to make some decisions on it.
Forgive me for not being here at the beginning of this. What's your take on their response to the motion for the evidence? Do you think that was sufficient? I mean,
Well, first of all, I didn't think it was a response to what we asked for. It clearly wasn't. And I'm not going to regurgitate what I just said to everybody. We're going to try the case in the courtroom, not in front of, not in the press, based on proof, not on assumption, not on suspicion, not on we don't know what happened. Their response other than we don't know what happened, but we think he's guilty. Because that's really what that response was. And it's just sad. We're going to try the case in this court and sometime probably in 2016.
You mentioned traveling. Where would you be traveling to, and what would you be looking for?
I think traveling involved speaking to potential witnesses outside the state and potentially outside the country.
And where would that be?
Well, it just depends right now, depending on where things lead. We have still getting information. So we're still making some decisions on that regard at this point. There's so much to be done here because we've been inundated with a variety of material, and we're still going through that. Still making the process of going through and making decisions of where we're going to go from that.
How's he holding up?
It's difficult. The man lost his wife. He's been accused of killing his wife. He's maintained from the moment we met him that he is not responsible for her death. So now all this is going to come out where he's now going to be tried not based on fact or proof that he actually committed a crime, but because of all these other things that may or may not be relevant. So how would you feel? It's pretty difficult.
First and last name?
Mr. Shahan's first and last name?
No, sir.
I'm John Lentine. And this is Mr. Sheffield, Wendell Sheffield, who's my law partner, and Christopher Daniel, who is also one of the attorneys in our office.
At the risk of upsetting you one more time.
I'm not upset.
They have
You don't look upset.
This is called.
I was going to say, you haven't seen me upset
In
yet.
that case, good. Is there a court date set? Is there a firm date? What's the
No,
next
there's
step?
not. The judge is looking at some time in the spring of 2016, and we're still making some decisions about that. A lot's going to depend on a variety of hearings that take place and a variety of things that have to be done. So that's going to take some time.
Is this the discovery phase? How would we characterize what's happening here today?
It's still a discovery phase. It's still an informational gathering situation, and it's going to take some time. They do. When you have something as grave as this is, it takes time to go through everything to make sure, because the most important thing is getting things right, getting things fair, and getting things done justly. That's what we're interested in.
In your motion filed in February, you were really just looking to see if they were saying someone else was involved, or
Go ahead.
We're not real sure what they're saying. I mean, the reality is that they've made an allegation through the form of an indictment, and we just wanted some clarity. Are they saying that Mr. Shahan did this, as is alleged in the indictment, or are they saying somebody else did it? They're not clear on what they're saying, and that's what we were asking for.
And we didn't get that answer. And we still haven't
No,
got
we
that
still
answer.
haven't got that
You know, if
answer.
you look at their own pleading at the very last, they say, it's probable. Well, last time, and I've been practicing law for going on 29 years, we don't try and convict people on anything that's probable. We convict them on proof beyond reasonable doubt. So, no, they did not. They spent 9 pages not answering the question.
And it's very interesting that, you know, what people need to understand is that he has a right for the state to meet their burden of proof, which is they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt each and every allegation they've made against him. And all they've done and what they filed so far is tried to slander him, and it has absolutely no relevance at all to whether or not they can prove the charges against him. And what we were hoping to get was something factually relevant to that issue, and we haven't gotten anything so far.
And the 9-page document that they put out, of course, still does not provide any response or clarity to exactly what they're saying. Because if you read it, it basically says, we don't know what happened, but we think he did it, or somebody did it, or he knew about doing it. And we don't try people in the United States of America on that kind of thing. At least I hope we don't. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.